Yeah, and I think having the focus on the offs here is really what helps bring it together in the record for me, because it still feels like you're moving 4/4, even though it's this broken beat thing.
Yeah.
This episode is being supported by Tape It, the iPhone recording app made for musicians by musicians.
And we really love texture in a beat and in general. So like, you know, playing with electronic music and things that are synthesized, but counteracting it with just interesting samples and loops and stuff. So there was just definitely, you know, this like marching vinyl kind of like eighth note hi-hat sample. There was these kind of low end toms that we were basically referencing some stuff we would DJ. So, you know, utilizing this low end tom to play off the kick. So we were basically just trying to build up a groove. And then there's a few extra little like textural things like that. What's this thing? Oh yeah. Is basically like a group in itself that's just like a white noise saturated against like a sort of like 808 kick. So it just like crunches really interestingly. And basically there's all these like interesting kind of like points of texture that I really love, that, you know, it's like simple, but it gives the beat like a little bit more of a world and the ecosystem it lives in, as well as just like the kind of like this guy. And we tracked some live hats as well. So basically we liked that this groove is, it's very simple, it's very eighth note driven. And there's a bunch of tracks that we were referencing that are in that vein. It's very simple, very driving. We tried some more 16th beat hats, things that were busier, which we do on other tracks well. But for this, we liked that it was a really simple kind of bed for the bass line to sort of move around and undulate around. And then it's uncluttered. It's like there's less space being utilized. You know, we try to make sure we don't overclutter stuff.
And here comes the bass.
Yeah, I think particularly for this one, we knew, we spoke about this actual sort of straighter feeling of the drums, and I think that along with this, we were trying to find some largeness like down in the bottom end. So we ended up, I think, adding this sub sort of pump to really keep that body moving down below while still having this huge riff on top.
Time for a quick Tape It feature highlight. Tape It allows you to record in stereo, utilizing the full microphone capacity on an iPhone along with gentler dynamic compression. It gives you a much more natural sound and is a huge upgrade to the all-round audio quality. To find out more, follow the link in the description or use the promo code Tape Notes for 20% off Tape It Pro.
So I'll solo the drums. So I think some of the, this is one thing that I thought was interesting to show, is that some of the initial elements that I was playing with before me and John sort of assembled all these elements into the beat was using a like Echo Boy on this kind of like, it's basically just like a impulse with a few like little rim samples. And then basically, you know, one thing that we love doing is kind of just running, you know, hitting record and then just generating tons of stuff that we can then chop later. And chopping things as audio, I think, is really cool, because then you're kind of committing, you're constantly committing. So that basically running that little like impulse thing into Echo Boy and then warping it, sort of like decapitating it a little bit, and then like swinging it to the swing of the track was one of the earliest things that I remember doing. And then it was like sort of building up like a mixture of MIDI shakers, some live kind of like more lush shakers, again like keeping everything really tight. I really wanted like an Armin kind of break or a jungle think break, because this is a classic, and we haven't really used that in the track before. So that was kind of the sort of basis, and then we started building up some more of the crunched like offbeat hats. This is the rim. And basically, we loved it feeling kind of crunchy, the rims being pitched down and like emphasizing like the note of the rim. So it was really tonal. And so then we were playing with like this offbeat sort of feeling, like really distorting things, like crunching things, committing to audio again, pitching down, but it being a very specific kind of like aesthetic of beat felt exciting to us. And then we played with a few different kick patterns. We wanted it to be broken beat, but we also didn't want it to be cluttered or busy or complicated. So we ended up with that kind of pattern. There's like space in it to let the bass kind of shine through.
Yeah, and I think having the focus on the offs here is really what helps bring it together in the record for me, in the having that homogeneous feeling throughout the record, because it still feels like you're moving 4/4, even though it's this broken beat thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of like the main elements of the beat being generated. Another thing that I really like in this track that is kind of an identity of the production is things being stuttered. So we're using a lot of gating, especially for the bass, because it's held. That's just the held bass, but then we have this gate. That's the extreme version of it. So there's a bit of an attack on it. So then using that really subtly so that it creates this subtle like whomp is something that kind of came as we were developing the idea of the track.